So toxicity, yeah, that's a T. Toxicity is one of the 8 lifestyle ingredients, is the new name I'm calling it now. Ingredients for amazing biologic function. So I'm going to ask this class to tell me what the 8 lifestyle ingredients are. Beate, what's number 1?
Wait, you have to say it's after 8?
No, it was 7.
I mean, sorry, it was 7, now it's 8.
Yes, on the flight I increased it.
Exercise.
Exercise, Beate.
Sleep.
Sleep. My God, I'm beginning to be excited by this class.
Diet.
I'm telling her that
No, it's not called diet. It's called something else.
Nutrition.
No, hold it.
Nutrition.
Hey,
Nutrition.
Lifestyle.
nutrition. And then Kim.
Nutrient.
Oh my, okay, now we're gonna stop here. Kim, what's the difference between nutrients and nutrition?
Nutrients are like
I said Kim.
Oh.
We're in class.
Nutrition.
Yeah, what's the difference between nutrient and nutrition?
Nutrient is the vitamin from the everything. That's the requirements, like vitamin A, B, C, whatever, that's a nutrient.
Yes.
Nutrition is a food.
Yeah, and what is, no. Okay, we need to go deeper. I want to know.
fat.
Yeah, protein, fat.
And I can remember the third one.
Okay, so I want you to really know them by this name. These ones are called macro
Yeah,
nutrients, and this one are called micro
Yes.
nutrients. Okay, it's important we start remembering those names. Macro because they come in big bundles, molecules that the stomach has to break using enzymes, right? So to facilitate absorption. Micronutrients do not need to be broken down. They are absorbed immediately. Okay? Very important. So we stopped at number 4. We have,
Stress.
stress.
Is that a lifestyle ingredient for amazing?
Yeah, de-stressing.
Oh,
Yeah.
de-stressing.
Yeah, the D of the stress. And then number 6,
Water.
hydration.
Relationship.
Relationship.
Oh my God, you guys are getting it. But you're missing one.
Relationship.
You're missing one. You're missing one.
Time.
No, it's not time.
No, that's a
Time,
block.
yeah.
That's different.
It's what we're talking today. Detox. Detox. So those are the 8 ingredients, right?
Okay.
Exercise, sleep, nutrition, nutrients.
Stress.
Wait, so you add detox to the number 8? Is that what the add?
Yeah, no, it's relationship that we added.
Oh.
Toxicity was always there.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So, and this really is helpful as part of that. We've put relationship and we've added this is alone time distressing. This is healthy relationships, right? It's a critical part to that. Okay. So now you have your phones. I want you to Google a couple of things. Oh, you got our new notepads from Vietnam. Printed, brand new. You're like
Nice.
the celebrated first users of my notepads.
Is your address Landmark 6?
Yeah, in Vietnam, yeah.
Wow, that's cool. Actually.
You want to see pictures of it?
Yeah.
It's just yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like in one of the most exclusive places in Saigon. Okay, so what are the 5 key causes of disease?
Stress.
No,
Chronic stress.
no,
Sounds like stress.
no. It's not a cause.
Infection.
Infections?
Inflammation.
No. Actually, infections and stress cause inflammation. Infection, what else? You guys, you need to,
Toxicity?
yes, toxicity. Hello, you've been into
Bad diet.
nutrient deficiency. Yes, you see, it's happening, right? Nutrient deficiency, that's what it's
How
called.
about like not enough water?
No,
Okay.
Too much food.
Inflammation?
no,
said
that's
that.
no. You're missing two big ones. Come on, guys. Two big ones that you should know. Two big ones. You're looking for help?
You got it?
Two big ones that you'll help, that we've done tests on all of you on. No, it's not lack of something.
Biomarkers?
Yeah, your biomarkers are all of it. So the big one is your genetic risk.
Genetic.
What else?
Sounds like.
Prasa, are you going to help them? If Prasa wasn't paying attention.
Sounds like.
Sounds like what?
The number 5 sounds like. It's, you know.
There is no number 5.
Somebody does it before. I think of the 5th one, so now it's 4.
Yeah,
I was thinking because
there is none left. I wanted to, it's part of the excitement of teaching, right? Make you think there is 4, 5, there's 4. Okay, so very quickly, how do infections actually cause chronic illness? Because don't forget that infections normally are treated how? What's the Western method for treating infection? Antibiotics. So what happens after the treatment with antibiotics?
You kill all the good cells.
No.
Most of
Kill
them.
the
You
bad
kill-
ones,
Oh,
the
no.
bacteria.
The bacteria, the good bacteria.
Gut bacteria.
No, you kill the bad ones too.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you
the
also
bad
kill the
and
good ones.
Yeah, and then what happens?
you still
Your
sick.
gut compromised.
No, you're not still sick.
Oh,
No.
Something happens.
You kill everything off, and the bad ones are still there, and then
Yeah, the bad ones
they
come.
overrun the good ones if you don't take probiotics.
Wow, she's been reading. But there is something else that happens. You never kill all of the infection. So you
Still
kill
lingers.
close to 98, 99%. That 1%, something happens to them. They escape and hide in the organs. And so if you have repeated infections, what's happening is that you're building the infectious or pathogen load in the organs. Okay, and we're going to talk about what happens when that happens over time. That's why if you keep having the flu regularly, it's really bad for your long-term prognosis. So let's talk about toxicity, because this is really this is Elizabeth's favorite topic because of GMO and all of that. So let's really talk about toxicity. How toxic is our environment today, Elizabeth?
On a scale from 1 to 10,
Yes.
I'd say about a 10.
In California, right? If you live in Southern California. Why is that?
The air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, the stress we have.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about one or two things. So how are you addressing the water?
I have Poway.
Kowe. Kim, you've also installed Kowe, right?
Only for the air, not the water. I still drink bottled water.
Yeah, see, she's stubborn. She's still drinking bottled water. Why is it bad to drink bottled water, Prasant?
Plastic.
Because the way they carry, the way they store, because in sunlight, if you keep that bottle, like plastic bottle, water, it's really harmful for you, and it has a cancer.
Reacting agent. It's called bisphenols. It's part of the construction of the plastic. The sun and all of that hitting that bottle releases that chemical into the water. That's why sometimes plastic bottled water tastes funny. And it's really the bisphenols that are sinking into the water, right? And for some of us, it's okay, but for some of us, it's not. So, what about nutrient deficiency? Why is that such a big issue for chronic illness?
Well, your body needs nutrition to heal.
Your body needs nutrients. For what?
Healing.
For repair?
And restoring and repairing.
Yes, for repairing and restoring and for activity, right? What are big genetic risks that you know that could lead to illness? What are some big genetic risks?
Well,
The most common one.
Cancer in the family?
No, well, yeah, but we're looking at cancer is something that comes from something. So we're talking about causes. So one of the biggest genetic risks are mutations that we have. And what are mutations? I really want us to be really clear. Beate, what are mutations?
Pre-diabetic?
No. What is a mutation? Elizabeth.
It is the distortion of a cell into something.
No.
Isn't it a mutation, a distortion of the
No. Yeah, so what is it about the gene and mutations? What is it?
There's a certain, that's a test when you take the Boston test to tell you that type of your body.
No, it's normally the pathway genomics. Boston also gives you some so the genetic risks is when your mother and father created the egg that created you. In that process of combination, certain things were enhanced and certain things were suppressed, creating certain underlying mutations.
Is it anything to do with your blood also, with the blood type though?
No. We're now talking about your genes.
Can you isolate that mutation in each person?
Yes, that's why we run pathway genomics.
So
we can identify from about 400-500 genes that we run the prominent mutations. And what is a mutation? This is a very important issue because a lot of people are not paying attention. What is a mutation? You want to Google it?
okay.
Yes.
How do you spell it?
Mutation.
It's the change of the nucleotide.
Okay.
It's a
Yes.
DNA gene.
It's the change of the nucleotide sequence of the genome of an organism.
I know it gives you a lot of big words that are confusing. So in the gene, right, in the DNA, you have two strands, right, from mother and father, right? Yeah, pay attention, guys. Pay attention. Now you can go Google and find out. So in the mutation, certain things may happen at certain points in the strand, the DNA strand. One of the most common ones that I have is the MTFHR mutation. Almost 40 to 50% of the population have it. I don't know who else have it here.
Well, what is it?
I'm going to tell you what it is. It has to do with B12, or what we call the folate metabolism. This is one of the most important metabolic pathways in the body. And so when you have that mutation, it means that your body doesn't metabolize folate very well. And so you're supposed to receive the methyl part of it, which is a form that the body might use much more efficiently. How many people here are taking methyl B12? Most of our patients are, right? You are too. Yeah, because you don't have the mutation. Well, the issue is not like we're scoring who wins and who loses. There is a reason why mutations happen, right? And why is that? Tell me why mutations happen.
Because two genes come together like that?
No, that's not why mutations happen. Why mutations happen?
It's a damaged gene.
No, it's not damage. No. Why is mutations required in nature?
Does a mutation occur when a DNA gene is damaged or changed in such a way as the
Okay, listen to me. Google sometimes is incorrect. It's not as smart as me. Yeah. So why do mutations occur? It is really about sustaining the species. It is about our long-term survival. It is a way in which nature builds in. Don't forget, we're just talking about the weak parts of mutations. They are optimizing parts of the mutations, right? Mutations that allow us to actually use oxygen more efficiently. So people who live on mountaintops where there's less oxygen have optimized architectures for the use of oxygen, right? That's a mutation, right? When people lived in caves, their skins became whiter so they could absorb more sun, the little sun that was available. That's a skin tone mutation. The people who lived in the climates where there was more sun had darker skin so they don't absorb too much sun. You understand? Sun is critical for all of us. Why, Beate? Why is the sun critical? Why do we need vitamin D from? Why do we need vitamin D? No, that's not why we need vitamin D. Kim?
I don't know. I just know we need vitamin D. It's part of the FDA FRA requirements.
It's part of the God requirements.
Carry calcium from blood to the bones. So whenever you are taking calcium supplement, so you need vitamin D. That's how that calcium from the blood it carries to the bones, and then it works.
And almost 90% of Americans are vitamin D deficient. So typically we give you a heavy load. Most of you are on 5,000 or 10,000. Okay? All right? So the reason why I'm going over this is because at the core of chronic illness are two big issues. Now you're going to have to Google again. At the heart of chronic illness is your genetic risk plus what we call epigenetics. Can you Google what epigenetics is?
Yeah. What is epigenetics? Got it. It's the study of heritable phenotype changes that do not involve alterations in the DNA sequence.
Correct. They have alterations only in the mRNA expression. So let's stay with this. I know it's kind of challenging. So you have your genetic risk already, that's inherited. The epigenetics is the environmental impact on genes changing their expression. That's really at the core of chronic illness.
And the expression that you're speaking of, that's when it turns on and off?
Correct.
Yes.
All right. So if you are not taking vitamin D, right, it has long-term epigenetic impact on how you manage calcium. There's real changes to that. And then what happens if your body is not absorbing calcium in the bones properly? Calcium deposits somewhere else, and then you have osteoporosis. That is an epigenetic outcome. That's what we then call a chronic illness. Is that making sense?
Is that connected?
The body uses different pathways now because there's no vitamin D. So what do we do with all this calcium in the blood? There are no carriers for it.
So then it becomes osteoporosis?
Because there is not enough calcium in your bones.
And where does it go, though?
You have, like in their kidney, you have stones,
Oh, okay.
right? Because they're trying to filter all that out. Okay, are we making sense now with regard to this connection between epigenetics and genetic risk? Because these issues, all of these lifestyle ingredients, really, that's what they're doing. They're creating long-term underlying changes. That's why chronic illness shows up 10 to 20 years after, because it takes a long time. Every day the body is looking for vitamin D, there is none. Every day it's looking, there's none. Every day it's looking, so there's a kind of accumulative impact over the long term, and it actually causes what we call deep epigenetic changes.
Is there any food that is vitamin D?
No, vitamin.
You have to take it outside of the.
You have to take it either in the sun or as a supplement. That's it.
Without sunscreen.
Huh?
Without sunscreen.
Yeah, so then the sun doesn't get to us. Yeah.
I'm saying from where the supplements comes.
Oh yes, from some food, but the challenge is that you can't eat enough for your way through it. Yeah.
If you eat enough vitamin D, you have to eat whole.
Well, that is the problem about supplements. You have to eat a lot of specific kinds of food to get the right amount. Yeah, but don't forget that in the old culture, where the soil and the air and everything was perfect, you had enough, because if you go where there's spring water and you drink that water has the right amounts of minerals, right? You see people who drink spring water. That water in the mountains coming down has the right amount of mineral, pure. It's gone through all the stones, it's been filtered, it's the right amount. So when you drink that water, even people will say today, you drink it, you just feel refreshed because it's the right amount of minerals. The food from the soil by season was bringing all the minerals and vitamins that you needed, plus the animals and the plants, because they were all eating in the same cycle, right? We've destroyed that cycle with microwave, with refrigeration, with the feeding of the animals and all of that. So even those animals are undergoing epigenetic changes, right? Because that's why, like, Muslims or the Jews are very uncomfortable with the way we slaughter cows. And you can tell from the meat that this cow was stressed. And a stressed meat actually is bad for you.
How can you tell that the meat is stressed?
People who are very smart can tell that the meat was stressed,
Really?
even from the taste of the
I can
meat.
tell from my own experience. I stopped eating meat for a while, and thought process is changing.
Correct. You
You're
clear
not
up.
aggressive anymore.
Yes.
It's really weird.
Yes. You don't go fighting patients.
I could tell you more about the meat.
Yeah.
Never slaughter any animals and right away to cook it. Never.
Yes.
Never do that.
You have to let it
Stress
bleed.
is-
Yeah.
Stress and the blood goes out from the.
So that's why those animals, when you allow them to graze freely, they're very calm. Everything is fine. Also, one of the things we learned is that we kill the animals in the morning and then let it bleed when they are still very, very calm. You don't let them go stressed throughout the day. I know that in Western culture, people can do whatever they want at any time. That's the kind of freedom bullshit we have. But it has led to a lot of real challenges. If you notice that the Muslims and the Jews are still very special about how they call it halal or kosher meat. There's really a process for bringing that meat, right? And it's very important. Yes, it's more healthy. I know most people have not been educated on it and they think it's bullshit, but it shows up in chronic illness. Is this very important, guys? So I just want to make sure we understand some of this stuff before we go. Toxicity leads to epigenetics. So for each of us, it's very different. If your mercury levels are high and mine are high, the combination might not lead to chronic illness for me, or it may lead to dementia, and for you it may lead to Parkinson's. Do you understand? Because of this combination. So it doesn't mean that if we're exposed to the same toxicity, we're going to have the same outcomes. Because our genetic risk and the epigenetic changes are very different for every person. So when we create all these disease structures, it's really stupid. Because MS or dementia or Parkinson's is just a name. That's why here we focus on the clinical biomarkers to look at what's actually going on so that we can begin to repair. You can reverse epigenetics. That is what those ingredients are for. You can reverse epigenetics. But it takes a lot to reverse epigenetics. So we're going to talk today about detox, right? Make sense? Are we good? Are we good? So let's start by just quickly going through this questionnaire. You've done this questionnaire before, right? So I'm just going to go quick. This is something you're going to take home. So let's go through it very quickly. Okay, you're going to, typically you've done this before, right? Yeah, so just quickly, so the challenge is that if you're thinking about detox, you can see that it affects, no, I don't want you to answer this now, you're going to take it home, we're just going to run through this very quickly. You can see that it actually affects every part of your biochemical pathways. It affects your digestive tract, your joints and muscles, your emotions, right? Like you were saying, people are aggressive just because they eat meat, and they have shown that if you actually feed dogs a particular kind of meat, the dogs become more aggressive, right? Or cats even, right? And then your weight, it affects your weight, it affects your energy and your sleep, your skin, your heart, your respiratory, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your ears, your head. So all of us, when there's toxins in us, we express very differently. So let's go to page 2. So I'm just going to do this very, very quickly. You've seen this before. So this is an overall detox program. But the thing I want to point out to you on this slide is the lifestyle factors that we've been talking about. Here they include insecticides, herbicides. You see all those things that's why I don't even use sprays to kill insects. Or even to clean, the cleaning chemicals that there's this concept in Western culture that if you smell the chemical, then the environment was clean. It's really bad because we are inhaling all these products that are really toxic. If it can kill flies, it can also kill us. Do you understand that? So that's really the challenge about toxicity and some of the chemicals that we use, right? And then sanitizers, even these people in the hospital, they put all this thing and they rub. Nobody checks what is in that bullshit, right? That you're rubbing your hands and the skin absorbs all of it immediately. You don't even know what is it that you're using to clean your hands, right? They all do it in the hospital, right? Right? So be very careful or buy your own sanitizer so that you are very clear about it. So you've seen this picture about detox. I'm not going to go into details about it. We're going to talk later. But I wanted to talk about 2 products that we have that typically you should be taking every day. Then we're going to really start looking at the clinical biomarkers for toxicity. So how many people are taking sulfuroclear? Okay. I think we gave you sulfuroclear. Okay, hold on. We'll get there. So sulfuroclear, so just read it. It's a combination of broccoli ingredients that supply standardized amounts. I'm reading at the top on this page. Here. Next page. Next page. I know I was talking and you. That page. Yeah. It's a unique combination of broccoli ingredients that supply standard amounts of glucaraphenine, an active myrosinase enzyme to help support sulfurin production. Sulfurin is a potent activator of the body's own antioxidant and detoxifying enzymes and is responsible for many positive health benefits associated with broccoli consumption, right? We all know broccoli is good, but the challenge with broccoli is that it carries a lot of toxicity from heavy metals because of the soil, right, where it's planted. So,
unless it's organic, right?
Well, even if it's organic, the question is the soil.
Organic.
So what does organic mean?
It means it's not sprayed with Roundup. It's not sprayed
But
with
but it also doesn't tell you the quality of the soil where it grew.
So it can be contaminated if you don't know that.
Correct.
Actually, they do soil testing, like the farmers markets.
they test the
soil
they
and
test the, yeah, exactly
5 years they have to write down every day
what they
they're
do,
doing,
yeah.
if they are, and what they're
That's why
doing.
farmers market from an organic perspective is a much better option, or it's the last option we have.
Certified organic is not that easy. It costs a lot of money. from
Yeah,
the
but a
farmers.
lot-
That's why the small farmers can do it.
Exactly, and I prefer small farms because at least they have that record and they have a reputation. The big companies can afford to get the certification without compliance.
They can just do it one time, they don't have to apply it.
Exactly. Just like all of us know they can get that shit done, right?
Pass the post test, that's it.
Then let's talk about Metalloclear, which most people here are taking, right? It offers specialized nutritional support designed to enhance liver detoxification. Why is liver detoxification very important?
Because that, the liver's way to clean all of the toxins in your body.
Good. Because if you see this picture that we went over quickly, this picture, that's why I was trying to come back and test you on that. You can see the liver is at the center of our detox architecture
It's like a factory for everything.
for cleaning everything. Yes. So that's why Metalloclear as a product is a very important product for your daily detox. And it really helps people manage their weight also, because most of the fat is held by toxins, and once you release these toxins, the fat actually has nowhere to hold on to, right?
And turmeric is good for cancer as well.
Yes, yes. And then I put all our products at the end. I know how much you love our products, so one of the things we're going to send you is an email for you to do reviews on our website. Can you send that email to them tomorrow? For all the products that you're taking, we want you to do reviews. Okay? What is a review, Elizabeth?
Well, that's when you take all of your vitamins and you bring them into the clinic.
No. Yeah, it is a rating. Where you go in and tell us how much you love or what, Beate? How much you love or do not love. You see? Listen to Beate's language. Not hate. How much you do not love the product. All right, let's look at some sample reports. We're looking at urine and hair analysis from doctors' data. Yeah, can you...
So you do hair?
We do both. Here, take, Louise, it's both hair and urine. So I wanted to show you... What did she say?
You told me that the hair is not very accurate.
No, the other hair test we do, the cell well-being, the one that generates the report. Doctors' data is very different, okay? So we have urine and we have hair, and I wanted to show you both from the same company. This is the most reputable company. So if you look at, you should have hair and urine reports. They're very different reports. Hold on, let's stay. We're gonna go to the report, right? So what is a toxic metal? Beate, what is a toxic metal?
Toxic metal?
Yeah, what is a toxic metal?
Disease?
Zinc.
No. Why is it called toxic?
It's battery.
That's not true.
Has some radiation if it's got one.
Yes, okay. He's gone to the issue of heavy metals. You know that sometimes I love teaching this class. It's so good. So you know that when we talked about biorhythms, right? Every organ in the body has a frequency. Every organ in the body runs at a frequency, right? That controls the overall clock. Heavy metals, as he just said, come with what we call what?
A frequency.
Yes, they're operating at a frequency. When these heavy metals meet, they change the frequency of our underlying organs. Is that clear? That's what happens. So these are heavy metals that are radioactive, even though it's low-grade radioactivity. That's why if you take radioactivity in a heavy dose, it kills you because it automatically changes the frequencies of all your underlying organs.
Is this something you ingest, this heavy metal?
Yes, it comes through the organic stuff from the soil. Because, for example, in Central Valley where they're doing a lot of fracking, they are releasing a lot of fine particles of heavy metals, right, which then sits on the vegetables and is in the soil, right? So there's heavy metals. At a certain amount is okay, right? So let's look at them. It's not that they're all bad. The body needs just a certain amount. But if it goes to, remember the thing I spoke about, epigenetics? That's what heavy metals do. They go and change the biochemical pathway. That's why chemotherapy is very bad. Because you're actually using radioactive metals or to kill the underlying cells.
Is it the same as radiation?
Yes, it's the same.
And chemotherapy.
The same with radiation. That's why even when you do x-rays and things, they tell you to be very careful. Because you are really introducing, right? You know that after you do x-rays or some radiotherapy, for days afterwards, the radiation around you is very high. Right? So there is a lasting effect from that. That's why it is very important that you do not do radiation very often, or x-rays, or expose yourself to radioactive rays. Very important issue. Well, that's a different exposure you're having in the stratosphere. It's the dose is not as significant as actual direct interaction. Yes, but for some of us that could trigger a lot of different things if you fly too much, right, and not at the right level or inside the right kind of aircraft that protects you. Okay, so let's look at our report and look at the elements that are in there. So you know that the green says that it is good, the yellow is a warning, and the red it's too much, right? So let's look at the hair report. So on the upper part, we are looking at the heavy metals, and what is it on the lower part? What would you call those elements in the lower part of this report? Yes. They are essentials, elements. But they also still need to be within range. Do you see how the structure is different? These are essential elements. We all need them. The toxic metals is what we don't really need. And so, if you notice, look at some of the things that are in the toxic metals. People who have done fillers, they were given cadmium or lead or platinum or thallium. These were all used for mercury. They were all used for dental issues. And silver, and you see where they all sit, right? And don't forget that slowly these metals are dripping into your body.
So they use titanium in knees?
They do.
And then that is a toxic?
It's right there. Don't you see there?
I do see.
Yes. So that's why rather than, it's better for you to lose weight and get a good knee than to do a knee replacement with those metals inside of you, ultimately. Because
Someone would now more a gel type of plastic material to use it for that instead of titanium.
yes, they're beginning to use a new, what is it called? It's a ceramic. Is it ceramic?
No, it's insole. No, it's more of a flexible. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's ceramic.
Yes.
It's made,
For
There is a
plates in
particular
my head.
word.
what kind of plates? Titanium? He's toxic. So there is, I think they're beginning to use ceramic for building those joints. Yes. Okay. So if you would look at the essential elements, you know, we have this in the nutrient chart, but just look at the different things that, so this is what would be in the soil. This is what plants and animals would get by naturally just drinking water in the air or from the soil. These essential elements. So this hair report goes into a lot of detail to look at the toxic metals and the essential other elements. So this is one of the areas that most of Western medicine ignores, looking at toxicity and how it affects.
So what is the difference between to do the toxic test on your hair versus your urine?
Well, that's why I was that's why I was trying to show you today. For one, as Vincent has pointed out to me, the hair one is cheaper. So in future, but the hair one is actually better because it is showing all the residual for the last 6 months.
Because your urine, you can clean it up. Just
Correct.
like
Yes. Correct. Exactly. So the hair, you cannot lie.
Yeah, you cannot lie about
Yeah.
that.
So it will show 6 months of what's really going on.
That's why when they do drug tests, they do better on the urine because you can pass it. With urine.
Correct. So you could clean your system and we will not get a real view. So the hair test is showing us a much longer term view, and it's a cheaper test for us to do. But I wanted to show you that the urine test also has a higher level of accuracy for the toxic metals. Right? So I wanted to show you, that's why I put out these differences today. Okay?
So let me ask you this then. So just say if you check the test, what do you do with that result?
Well, thank you for moving me to the next step. You know, Kim always wants to go to the next step. Yeah. So, one, I already addressed the big issue, is that on a daily basis, you should be taking metalloclear and sulfuroclear because there is no avoiding toxicity. You should be taking every day. Secondly, as part of the roadmap, you should be detoxing 3 or 4 times a year. Why is a detox important?
It's pushing out the toxin of your body.
Yeah, it forces the body to go through a period of distressing where you really reduce the amount of food intake and really allow the body to reconfigure itself. So a detoxification, even though you detox every day with these things, this process of a 10-day or a 28-day detox really resets the clock. And that is a very important issue because you'll be minimally eating a specific diet and allowing the body to almost re-regulate itself. And how does the body re-regulate itself? It's allowing the body to find back its biorhythm. That is a very important issue. If you look at all the new research on biorhythms, it is biorhythms that actually causes us to go into a lot of chronic illness. So what a detox does is that it removes all these substances and allows all the organs to find their normal rhythm again. Okay, very important. So one of the things that Prasant is going to be doing for all of you is to create your roadmap, because I don't think that any of you have done a 28-day detox. So Kim has just volunteered to get on the 28-day detox.
To do 7 days.
No, we want to get you on a 28-day.
Then I would have nothing to eat.
That's good. Actually, you don't need food. You need nutrients.
No, I want food. It's not that I eat. I like to eat food.
But for 28 days, you can go without.
So detox means No fruit.
No, there's
No,
food.
you're
She's just,
restricted.
yeah, you're
I don't
restricted.
cook, so there's only
Yes.
certain type of food you're allowed to eat.
If you want something, you can do it.
Yes. She doesn't want it that badly.
That bad one, yeah.
Yes, that badly. That's the point. Until she will want it badly, then we would create a 50-day detox for her.
That's why I take medical.
She's taking Metalloclair so that she,
I don't have to do the detox.
yes, but we're gonna recommend it, right? Because it's part of our process that we make.
Detox.
No, but you are due for one again.
Yes.
Have you done the detox, Beate?
No, because I didn't want to start anything new. I just wanted to get my
Understand?
mind out.
Yes, no, understand. But at some point, once she's stabilized, we need to. Is she on Metalloclair?
Let me
I
check.
don't think so.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna check because we need to put you on.
It's a green pill.
Yeah, and it's very, very good. Dr. Yi takes it every day. Yeah, for the last
The
6
one
months.
bottle is 6 months.
Yeah, one bottle is 6
Every
months.
day?
You take it every night.
Every day before I go to bed. Go
Yeah,
to bathroom next day. Very well.
and you can see your poo architecture
Because toxins
changes. Yeah, the quality, it's a slow process. You know, detox, there's something else called chelation,
Yeah.
which people out there do, chelation therapy. We don't typically recommend it except your toxic levels are very, very high. So there's one thing I want to now move to.
You know the toxic levels through the saliva test. One of those tests.
Yes, will tell us how high your levels are. When they're very high, then, and you're very sick, we may suggest chelation. But so, go ahead.
Can we sign up for the hair test?
Well, that's why we're here. So Prasan is going to talk to you about that. I thought she did the urine one before. Can you just check her history and then see whether it's good? I really don't recommend testing often. I recommend spending the money detoxing. Because if you take the test, we're going to find toxicity.
Yeah.
Because we live in a toxic environment. I prefer you spend that money detoxing because overall that is actually beneficial for you. Right, guys? Is that the right advice?
Can you over detox?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you can over detox because if you go back to this page, every time you detox, you're also removing some of these essential minerals. And so that's why the way they build it and the way you need to continue taking your nutrients during that is to make sure that you maintain your nutrient levels. So if some people detox without nutrients, and that is significant depletion, it's very dangerous. And so most people, when they detox, they're gonna get flu symptoms. And why do you think the flu symptoms? What is the issue with flu symptoms?
Just our body goes into reverse whatever sickness you had before.
You're releasing everything into the bloodstream. Yes, you're releasing everything into the bloodstream, right? So detoxing is a very important. There's another big issue about detox that is really important for you. When you detox regularly, it really strengthens your immune system. You understand? Because the immune system now is much more trigger prepared because all this load on it, you're reducing also chronic inflammation. Right? So those things are things that come out of toxicity and infection, because when you look at infection and toxicity, they cause serious chronic inflammation. So when you detox, it's also removing a lot of the residual infections. Right? So now I want to talk about biofilm. So can you Google what biofilm is? Biofilm. BIOFILM.
Any group of microorganisms in which cells stick to each other and often also to surface.
Correct.
Adherent cells become embedded within a slimy extracellular matrix that is composed of extracellular polymetric substances.
Too much.
Too much. Yes. Layman's terms.
So biofilm comes from these residual infections. And it is a very dangerous thing currently in our culture. It's bacteria that actually becomes deeply ingrained at the organic level. And biofilm is considered one of the most challenging issues to get rid of. Yes.
Do you know if we have it?
Most of us have it. Right, Dr. E? Biofilm is standard among
It's really hard to get rid of.
Yes, it's
They already, they have this film, and then
they protect.
the bad folks get together, they be bigger.
And so there are very simple ways in which we get a lot of the underlying bacteria that, or the pathogens that go and form biofilm. Most of it is from raw food. Yes, if you don't clean them properly, or molding, or meat, yes, or chicken. Remember when the CDC said, don't cut your chicken, cook it before you cut it, and everybody was in uproar 3 months ago because of the infection from raw chicken.
Not to wash it.
Not wash it. Yeah, I said just cook it before you cut it. Yeah. Don't wash it.
You make it wash and you wash the chicken. I don't cook, but you're not supposed to wash it. I read that. You're not supposed to wash. Yeah, you don't rinse your chicken. You're supposed to boil it and
Before you cut it.
When you rinse it,
Because you rinse it, you're causing more bacteria around it.
spreads
Yeah,
everywhere.
spread around.
So a lot of people, when you
We
eat,
told you to do a good job by washing it, right?
Yeah.
when you do salads in restaurants, that's the biggest source of biofilm. Because you don't know whether they wash the salads.
Supposedly they wash it.
Well, I'm just saying, you don't know how well they washed it, whether they washed it in vinegar. So there's a lot of bacteria that you're taking.
I get every time when I eat out and eat a salad, I get little blisters on my tongue.
Yeah.
But I think your body also will depend on how your body reacts to it, because not everybody reacts. to
Well,
it.
don't forget that I went
Your
back
system.
and I was showing you the genetic risk
Yeah.
plus your epigenetics. Some of us would show immediately, some of us will accumulate and show later and express. You see, this is about expression, right? Some people are tickled, they laugh immediately. Some people need accumulation of tickling before they laugh. You're laughing and I haven't tickled you yet. Right? So we all have a different levels of reaction to this. So biofilm, and that's why I stopped eating avocado in restaurants,
Oh, yes.
guacamole, because a lot of, I don't even take dried fruits anymore anywhere because of mold. And that is the biggest source of biofilm, molds.
How do you get rid of it?
You cannot. You have to eat fresh seeds, or you dry it yourself, or
No,
you,
wait, what she meant is that once you have it, how do you produce it?
or it is, well, the only way is to go through our simple detox program over time. Yes, because antibiotics is not a solution to it, and some of the biofilm is very stubborn.
And so we have to give our body power to get rid of it.
Correct. So when you detox, it's like resetting your immune system, right? It gives your immune system more power to go look for the things that are hiding deep inside our system. Because it's like you're clearing layers of bullshit, right? The more you clear and strengthen your immune system, the more power you give the immune system to go look for the things that are hiding deep inside. You understand? And biofilm is one of those areas that around the concept of toxicity is a very important issue that we start. That's why sulfuroclear enables the body's normal detoxifying architecture. Metalloclear is really cleansing the liver detox. The liver is like the filtration system of the body, right? Sulfuroclear is different. It goes deep into the organic levels to clear Metalloclear is clearing the filters, right? Like the air filters, cleaning it. And you have to clean that regularly, right? Because it gets clogged up. You see that? The detox, so we now have a daily and a quarterly detox program. So you should all be on a twice a year or 3 times a year 28-day detox.
So 28 detox is for those who are kind of a little bit sicker.
Yes, but also it's gentler. It's gentler.
Because you don't want toxin to come out too soon.
Because the 7-day thing is really, if you haven't detoxed before, it is not recommended.
I did it, nothing happened.
Well, because perhaps you were okay. A lot of people may not.
Nothing happened.
No, but there were times you had some running stomach and some other things.
I didn't have the after effect, but when I took those 7 days, I didn't get sick, I didn't get flu symptoms at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that juice, that green stuff thing, yes.
Oh, which one? Eniva. Oh, she was taking, the Eniva.
Yeah,
That doesn't need diet.
Oh, that doesn't need diet? No, we want her to get on this one that needs diet.
yeah, because there's two types. There's a green soap and the juice.
No, there are some detox options that do not need a diet.
But that doesn't mean that you can eat hamburger and fry. But they just
No, not that way. It's not restricted to the point that you only have to eat
Like this one.
like that one, because like 4 hours of this, it's just very restricted.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't measure.
The more restrictive it is, the more better it resets the body. So if you should be taking sulfuroclear and metalloclear. They're detoxing, but they are not really resetting the body, right? This one stops most of what you're eating and tries to clean and you know, one of the good things about detox is the non-fatty liver disease.
So that comes with all the vitamins you need to take.
No, you have to take your supplements on top
You
of
have to take
this.
your stuff, everything with it.
And it already has supplements.
Yes, because one of the things is that it's washing out a lot of stuff. It's just like when you take antibiotics. We recommend that you also take your probiotics on top of that, because as it's cleaning, no, it does not cancel it out. No, what it does is that, what does the antibiotic, the objective is to go after the bad pathogens. So when it kills the bad pathogens, you're replenishing with good bacteria.
You don't take
So
it
it's a population, you don't take it at the same
That
time.
you are not allowed to take the probiotics and take antibiotics.
Yeah, that is a stupid guidance. We don't provide that kind of guidance.
That's our
Not at the same time. I think you either take probiotic in the morning and you take antibiotic
Correct.
in the afternoon.
Correct.
Food, but you don't take it all together.
Actually, it's the other way. You take the antibiotic in the morning, and in the afternoon or evening, you take the probiotic. Yes, you have to. Because it's the same thing with chemotherapy. You take your chemotherapy, and then you take your probiotics. Because if you don't balance the gut architecture, it's going to be compromised.
So even before you go into surgery, kind of plan surgery, they
Yeah.
recommend
You take
take
probiotic
probiotic
for like a week, yeah.
before you go into
Yes, because the bacteria architecture, the good bacteria, is actually very important for healing and recovery. So now I'm
With probiotics and take too much.
sorry.
Can you take too much
No,
probiotics?
the body flushes it out because those bad boys
No, I don't. because
cannot be
I make
overwhelmed.
my own yogurt.
What kind of yogurt?
But probiotics. But you probiotics, I make
Oh, you make your own yogurt.
yogurt. Yes.
Oh, okay. I was kind of worried when she said
No.
pro.
And it's very interesting. I have other probiotics at home and I tried those out and the yogurt tastes sour. With your probiotics, it tastes really sweet.
Interesting.
It's really good.
Go past
Really, it's the strain. No wonder I could see that you're smiling more. You have good bacteria now. You have good bacteria now.
Take a lot of it, yeah.
You take a lot of it. So now I was going to talk about our detox patches. Can you bring me some glutathione patches? And I was going to run the video on, I didn't prepare you guys for this, right? I was going to run the video for the glutathione. So what is glutathione? Google, it's not a patch. What is glutathione? Yes, the protein.
It's an antioxidant chemical compound, tryptide, with a gamma peptide linkage between the carbon group of glutamate side chain and the adenine group of cysteine and the carbon, oh my goodness, group of cysteine is attached by the normal.
Why are you shaking your head? It's all in your body. If it's in your body, you should know about it.
Okay, so what
Why?
is it? It's an antioxidant.
See, what did they say in the Bible? That we were created in the image of God, right? So if he created all of this shit and we were created in his image, it means that we should know as much as he does. So why are you overwhelmed by the architecture that he created you in?
I'm not overwhelmed by the architecture, just the
Definitions.
The definition. Okay, well, we'll use some simpler definitions, like in patches.
Simple, because it's made up of 3 amino acids.
Assets. Wow!
Mine
Yeah.
doesn't say that.
Yeah, yours.
So you do the complicated one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You ask Siri.
Yeah, Siri.
Yes, Siri is much more
yeah.
smarter. Siri thinks you're smart, so
It's
Siri gives you
3
smart
amino acids.
Yeah, what are the 3? The glutamine.
L plus 3.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
glycerine.
how many of you are taking glutamine patches?
I do.
I have them. I haven't done it because I want to learn how.
Okay, so we're going to do some patching today.
Okay.
So, can you run me the video for patching for glutathione? It's on YouTube.
You're saying that for detox and that for detox?
This is a daily one.
The daily one.
Yeah, so even plus your metalloclear plus this.
Okay.
This supports the overall body, the
Where does
detox.
that go?
We're going to look at it now.
You can put on your ankle.
Yes. So I put it here, or I put it right down there,
Your ankle.
right? Or you also put it here.
I mean, whatever you call that.
Yeah. Or you put
The other
it
side of the ankle.
here. This is where Roy said you also can put it.
But it falls easily.
It falls off there.
Yes, it falls off. Yeah.
It falls very easily.
Yeah.
So you can wash your hand every time and then I
Yeah.
did it one time and
I couldn't get, maybe he didn't wash his hands.
Yeah, so or you
That's
put
not a
it,
good idea.
so down there where Kim, here, at that soft spot
Okay.
where they put the needles. Come on, you've been to acupuncture.
Oh, yeah.
There's that soft spot there
Yes.
where the needle is
Yes.
most painful.
Put it there.
Yeah, that's where you put the
On each
glutathione.
one or just
You can
just
put
one?
on 2 sides. Well, sometimes you can put on both sides. It's fine. It's yours. Right? Are you ready to run it? So look for the glutathione patching, okay? So now we're talking about a 3-pronged strategy, right, for detoxing.
Now we have
Yeah, go ahead.
a number of places in our instructions of where you can apply the glutathione patch.
That is
and
the
then
president
use places
of
there.
the
Now,
and the
many people
inventor.
carry toxins in this area at the base of the neck. And that's one of the locations where you can apply the patch. So if you want to detoxify your body of heavy metals, apply the patch to the depression right at the base of the neck. So a good way to use this might be to apply it 3 to 5 days during the week, just when you want to detoxify. Now, another place that you can apply the glutathione patch, just for everyday use, is just below the belly button. And this point is going to be located 2 finger widths
Here,
just below
the
the belly
navel,
button.
right?
So,
2
as
finger.
one example, many of you are going to be
Below.
using a lightweight peon patch on the back of the neck. The glutathione patch can be used below the belly button in this case. Now, let's talk about detoxification again, since I know many of you will be interested in that. The liver is what the body uses to detoxify, and the liver uses glutathione. So a way to stimulate the liver and support the liver would be an acupressure point that's located right on the top of the foot. And this point is really easy to find. It's in the webbing just between the big toe and the next toe over.
That soft spot.
So you'll find the point. You can apply a little bit
and
of
typically
pressure.
That's an
Most of you
acupuncture
are
point
gonna be
also.
very sensitive there, and then just simply apply the patch. But wherever you use it, the glutathione patch will help you to elevate your body's master antioxidant, protect your health, and detoxify your body.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Okay.
Now,
So,
Is it 3 times a week, not every day?
well, there are different recommendations. Yeah, depending on what. Also, if you're wearing it, sometimes if you're going to wear that, you want to wear it weekends where you're not going to work, right? It depends where you're going to wear it. Actually, I do it there or I do it down there. I put my socks over it, and that way it stays protected. So we're looking at daily detox, right? Or weekly, or 3 times a year, right? So you need to have a program around that. Daily, we are looking at food. There are food that provide detoxing capabilities. Which foods do you think do a detox, have a detox element?
Pomegranate.
Yes, it's mostly vegetables that have a lot of this ability to clean our system.
Garlic.
Yeah, garlic. There's something else with castor oil.
Don't eat that.
You drink it. It is actually very good for you. So that's something that you would naturally take. I know that my grandfather used to give it to us once every week on a Saturday morning to take that. So there is food, and then there are supplements that we've spoken about, and there are patches, right? And that applies on a weekly. Here we have the 7-day, we have the 14-day, and we have the 28-day. So it is important that you do that so you don't get to a place where you have to do chelation. The challenge with chelation, if you look at the architectures for or the protocols for chelation, is that they have to be supervised and done very carefully. A lot of people get very, very sick with chelation, right? Especially if they have biofilm. Because chelation is really one of the only ways in which you can address if you have serious biofilm issues. So most people who have autoimmune illness tend to have a lot of toxicity, and typically they have biofilm. Then that's why it stimulates a lot of autoimmune reactions. And it's very complicated to find out what's really going on. And so part of the big solution for autoimmune is to really detoxify. And then the body then will then find. So we're going to end class today by going back to a topic that you're all very familiar with, but you're going to have to Google because I don't think you're going to remember what it is, right? Since you're Americans. Okay, so let's deal with the word called Trump. Sorry, no. Homeostasis. Homeostasis. What is it, Elizabeth? What's homeostasis?
What is homeostasis? Property of a system within an animal in which a variable is actively regulated to remain very nearly constant. Ability of a system or living organism to adjust its internal environment to maintain a state of dynamic constancy.
Correct. Well, let's hear the simpler definition from Kim. Homeostasis. This is O and E. Homeostasis, I think.
State of steady internal physical chemical conditions.
Homeostasis, right? Is the spelling correct?
The dynamic state of equilibrium is the condition of an optimal functioning organism.
Yes. So the body is always looking for homeostasis. the self-regulating architecture of the body is always moving towards equilibrium. So we have to do things that have to support the body find equilibrium, right? Things like calorie restriction, that's why it increases the length of our lives. Time restriction just allows metabolism to function appropriately. So homeostasis is a property of things that want to survive. They find equilibrium. That is why when you're very healthy, you're going to sleep well. And when you're very healthy, you have that property that we call vitality. Vitality is an outcome of homeostasis. It is not a choice, to be happy, to be, how when little kids wake up in the morning, right? You're like, can we put them off? They're like, right? At 6 a.m. they're like chicken, right? They're like chicken. They want to play, they want to do this, right? That comes from a balanced homeostasis. Imagine how we are different from those kids. Because we are very far from homeostasis. So we don't have vitality anymore. We are boring, we are dull, we are tired, right? We don't talk as much as those little kids. Just them listening to them talk, you're tired, right? But they are not tired. They just go on talking all day. Then what happens when they're tired? They just crash, right? But we can't even crash when we're tired because we don't have homeostasis, right? We now have to, read or watch a movie, then we can fall asleep because our body is totally out of balance. When your body is in equilibrium, then your body finds homeostasis. So all these things that we do is really about finding homeostasis. That's really what it is. That's the key architecture about those ingredients. It's very important, guys, that even detox is that if you don't remove the poisons, it will be difficult for your body to find homeostasis. Okay? That was it today. Any questions? So I want to make sure, Prasant, that you get everybody on a regular daily detox, right? Especially once you're getting to the ages where we are, you need to take it daily. And then you can go to like 3 times a week. Then we also want to make sure that their diets is complementary for detoxing. We want to make sure that, at least as he said, on the patching, you're doing it at least 2 or 3 times a week. And then you have 2 or 3 cycles every year where you actually do a 10-day detox. I think it's very important that you do that. The real big concern is the accumulation of biofilm. That's the really big concern, because once it accumulates, it then creates a lot of other problems. So most of us will go and will be diagnosed with some stupid names. And that's the challenge about Western medicine. They give these stupid names that actually don't mean anything, right? And the reason is because they've given those names so that we can attach ourselves to some bullshit and get paid for the stupid work they do. Every chronic illness that we have for us as individuals is very personal. We want to find the normal rhythm of the body. Once you find that, everything disappears. Okay? So I think it is very important that's why I want you guys to have this knowledge, because when you have knowledge, then you can commit to the action. So you're not just doing it because Charles said or Prasant said so. You're doing it because you really understand what's going on, and you don't give anybody else advice because your condition is different from everybody else's condition. They need to run their clinical biomarkers for us to know what to prescribe or what to recommend. Right, Prasant? Okay? Everybody's biomarkers are different. Okay? Because of our genetic risk and our epigenetics. Have a good evening, and thank you for coming.